hanging out with everybody and doing my first. Well, I think it's probably everybody's first online camp, isn't it? And I think they're going to be blown away by what they're going to experience, which is awesome. All right, so you don't have a guitar with you right now, but for those of you who do have a guitar, who wants to talk about guitar? Maybe there's somebody on Facebook right now at this very moment. You see that guitar over next to you or across the room. Don't worry, it doesn't bite. Go grab it. Let's have some fun. So everybody just grab their guitars. Now they're tuning up. This is great. I can visualize this. See, this is the good thing about being a good bluegrass guitar player, or a good bluegrass musician in general, is being able to visualize things, you know. And in this scenario, we're visualizing, I'm visualizing everybody coming across the planet to Camp Tunefox, which is where they should be in 2 weeks. That's all right. Well, who wants to play some rhythm? I'm always game to play some rhythm. And I'm going to probably, you know, we haven't talked fully about the breakdown of the schedule and whatnot, but I really love to kind of take topic by topic and get deep into the weeds and kind of pursue those to the end lengths. And so where we always should start is, I love talking about rhythm guitar. And for those of you out there who are playing your guitars at this very moment, the place that I always start with is the G chord and really solidify what, you know, simply is called the boom check rhythm, but to me is like foundation, most important thing, number one. So if you were to grab your G chord and just play the lowest G note and then strum, and then I like to alternate the bass notes. So grab a D note and then strum again. And just alternate that pattern. And this is like, seems super basic, super rudimentary, but this is the foundation. This is where everything else is built. This is how we're really going to propel that sound that we need to create here. So that's a really great thing to just practice nice and slowly. And I want to make sure that each component, the bass notes and those downstroke rhythm strikes, need to be nice and solid and really clear and clean. So that's why I use this at a nice at a slow tempo to really kick that forward and get that nice punchy sound. Of course, you can do that on all of the chords. So you want to do that on C chord, I'll grab a C and I'd play the C note, and then I'd alternate my third finger on the left hand, play a low G, and create that sound. A D chord, play a D note. I usually play the open A string below it and alternate those. Again, making sure that those bass notes are nice and punchy and really having good definition. So I like to practice that just 3 chords in a row. G, C, and D. I think I just saw a text bubble pop up. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can see that. And just like everybody, I spent all my time with the acoustic guitar in my hands and not with the, not a lot of virtual meetings in our normal world, is there? Everything sound okay on your end, Bennett? You got me clear here? We'll make sure everybody gets this open house.
There's a trick for it. You're using an iPad, right?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, so there's an option to turn on and off the original sound. Yeah, and Greg just posted this.
Oh.
So there's a Zoom setting called auto adjust microphone in the beginning and the end of sounds. And so I'm not sure how to adjust it on the iPad, but we'll get this sorted out for the actual camp. Because I've only figured it out on the computer.
We will do that.
Yeah. And it tends to be weird with guitar, but you know, just continue. This is awesome. Thanks, man.
That's all right. I'll pursue this. Well, you know, this is the most amazing thing is what we're going to learn from all of this, beyond just the guitar playing, right? But I know what you're describing. I've done some virtual concerts via Zoom, and yeah, you're right about the setting. So we'll do our best, as long as the information is coming across. Hopefully, through that muffledness, the notes that I'm playing are popping out.
Hey, actually, I think I may have,
So let me know. You
oh,
just
sorry, man. Sorry to interrupt. I think I may have
yeah.
found the solution for it. Do you have a button on the bottom of your screen that says more? Like if you open up the bottom control bar?
I I see it.
Okay.
It's just on the top. But
And
yes, I
then you
found
can
it.
tap more, and then you might be able to tap like enable original sound.
That is unfortunately
Okay,
not
cool.
one of my
We'll
settings.
figure it
I can disconnect the
out.
audio
Yeah,
there. That'll
right.
help everybody.
Okay. Well, just keep on going, man. We'll figure this out for the camp.
Yep, that's awesome. So there's another. So that's a topic, that boom check rhythm. Thanks everybody for hanging on here. So that boom check rhythm is something that can be developed, and obviously can unpack that and add some more upstrokes and things from there. The other side of the coin I was thinking about was a really cool transition, and this is something to add to that rhythm pattern, and that would be, I really like this little. It's a little bit of a lick, a little bit of a phrase, but a nice transition right here. And a lot of people love adding cross picking to everything, which is something I do every once in a while. It's not the biggest thing that defines my style, but I really love. To me, it's kind of like adding either mini arpeggios or little triads to just kind of open up the chord and really make it spacious. So there's a really cool way that you can make a basic rhythm pattern simple but powerful. And this is one of those ways that I like, because you're still adding to the forward momentum. So all I'm doing here is playing this. The first note is the open A string, and then I'm playing the second fret, the B note, and then the open D, the open G. So playing an open A string first. It's kind of like an abbreviated G run almost, instead of this. Now I'm just playing. But adding that in to the rhythm pattern, 1 and 2 and 3, and maybe I'll do it on each one. 2. You could really do that anywhere. I could just play it on G all the way through. Or one of my other favorite things to do is add that in lieu of where somebody might play a 7th chord to go to a C, like a G7. I could maybe use that in that area. It's not adding that 7th note, but it's creating a movement, sort of like this. Ready, and C. So once again, G, 2, 3. Now on my right hand, I'm still working in the up and down strokes. So I'm playing that, starting on a downstroke on that A note. And somehow, so when I do that up and down stroke, my G string, I'm playing with an up, and then that just drops me right into C with that bass note on a downstroke. So it lines up really well. I really like how that works. So that's something that people can use right away. Imagine that, just playing that, just adding something like that. And I could also transition and use that from C. It's like this wonderful little phrase that is kind of like, it's like pasta. It'll just absorb the flavor of whatever you're playing near it. And I like that analogy because it's like I could play it after C too. It's the same notes. So it'd be like this. Here's that lick. And again after C. can even add that after a D chord. In fact, that sounds really nice, D to G. This is also an extremely dynamic thing. So something folks will hear me talk about is developing rhythm patterns and phrases that are as dynamic as possible. It doesn't lose the intensity. You're still propelling the music forward, but you can hear how that adding that kind of, and especially with the open strings in there, you can kind of make it ring, and that creates that beautiful kind of piano sound. You know, that's a really cool thing to practice and to work on and add into your rhythm. And rhythm should never be stagnant. You should be trying to add as many things as possible. That's where the musicality comes in, right? So that's something super cool. So at the time I have left, just to spin to the other side of the thing, the other kind of the coin of flat picking and playing leads, I was just going to demonstrate one of my very favorite and famous, I don't know if it's famous yet, but favorite warm-up exercises, which is to get my right hand up and down strokes developed and get my left hand fingerings working. And it's a chromatic run that starts on the low E string and sounds like this. And this is just so I can get my right hand and left hand working together and talking to each other, right? Because that's the key to everything, really. The key to improv and the key to playing fiddle tunes up to tempo is getting all of four fingers over here working and getting your right hand working with those up and down strokes. So at any tempo, that's something you'll hear me say is working on the right hand, making sure if you're flat picking, playing leads, kind of developing a nice, smooth, easy up and down stroke on your right hand. So I am playing the low E string and then playing the first 4 frets with each one of my fingers. First, second, third, fourth, and then switching to the A string and doing the same thing. And let's go to the D string and do the same thing. All right, let's do all 3 of those together. Open E, open A string, open D string. All right, remember this is really important to get these 2 hands working together. So it's pretty easy to do nice and slow. And then the key is to slowly increase your tempo so that you can get each finger moving. All right, from the G string, it's now the only thing different here is that the G string is the first 3 frets. And then we switch to the open B. So the G string is open up to the 3rd fret. And then the B string and the high E string are going to be 4 frets again. So B string, and then high E, and then 4 frets again. And the very last note, I shift my pinky to the 5th fret to an A note. And that's where I end. So the only thing, it's all 4 frets on each string, the open string, and then the 3rd fret on the B string. So together, from the low E, it sounds like this. And here's the G, B, high E, and high A. And we stop. All right, a little quicker just so you can hear it in context. A couple of things you can practice is, of course, going back down. And so on and so forth. The thing going back down is I usually start with my A note on my pinky, and then when I get to the 2nd fret of the high E string with my 1st finger, I shift and play the 1st fret with my 1st finger. So that's something you'll hear me talk about too, is when I usually prefer, it's not always the case, but for most cases, if I'm moving this way down the neck, especially soloing up here, I kind of tend to shift with my first finger because I'm headed that direction. And then if I'm headed up the neck, my pinky tends to be the transition point. So this is another exercise that is really crucial for developing pinky strength, which is going to prove extremely useful when we get to that conversation of soloing up the neck. So remembering up and down strokes too. This is where that's getting developed. So you can practice going up, going down this phrase. And then another wonderful thing I love to do is making sure that my left hand fingers are not coming too far up off the fretboard, so that doesn't look like this, because the moment I need to start going, lifting fingers way out of position, that can be a little bit dangerous. So I really love doing this exercise and trying to keep my fingers as close to the fretboard as I can. Now, obviously the pinky's going to be out of the way a little bit, but it's right there. They're all right there when they need it. So one last time on that. Here's the low E. Open A, D, open G, open B, and the high note, high A. All right, so the goal of that, we're getting all four fingers here worked in, getting used to that. That's going to really help get your left hand in shape, coupled with the right hand up and down strokes. After that, you start working on your own personal improvisation. You get your favorite fiddle tunes worked in. If you can have your hands really working at their full strength, that is a wonderful concept. Bennett, any other ideas here before I pass the open house off to our next in line? Because, man, we're going to have a blast, aren't we?
It's going to be really fun. And this is awesome, man. Thank you for joining us for the open house and doing this mini lesson. And thank you for everybody for joining us as well. There's 21 people here online right now. I don't know if you can see them all. I made you the co-host. But
I'm so new to Zoom that I haven't hit all the right buttons. I see some folks now.
Howdy, everybody. Good. Yeah,
thanks for coming in. I just had to hit the right button. And I just want everybody to know, I'm so happy to be at the open house. I take open house extremely seriously. I know that we're doing this virtually. I brought my own cookies. Gotta have cookies at an open house, right? That's what they say. Make it smell like cookies. So
some chips and hummus, yeah.
There you go. I'm gonna do that.
Donna had one question for you. She said, "Can you go over the D run one more time?" Oh,
right. So I was just adding that same. It was the same run. Open A string, open A to B, and then open D string and open G string. But I think where that question lies is using it to transition from D to G. So D in rhythm. So D chord, 2, 3, back to G. So it works really well as a transition point between any of those chords, right? One more time on the riff itself. So if I add that to the rhythm pattern, it's a really nice way to kind of, I haven't found a better way to put it, but kind of air it out a little bit. You're kind of creating some space in there. You're still playing notes. It's not dead space, but it's really nice as opposed to trying to add a whole bunch of upstrokes and kind of things, It's really busy. It's not too clunky. It's nice and precise and to the point. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, she gave a emphatic thumbs up. So
awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you, Chris. And so we got Tristan Scroggins up next at 1:30, and for you guitar players, Kenny Smith is also teaching guitar at camp, and he's going to be on for the open house at 2:30. So we have that to look forward
Awesome.
to as well. Yeah. So thank you again,
Very
Chris, and
cool.
everybody.
All right. So everybody out there in Facebook land, they know where to find the information so they can sign up right now.
Yep. Tunefox.com
Awesome.
/camp. Yep.
There it is.
hmm
Cool,
Cool.
man. All right. Well, everybody tell your friends, grab your favorite cup of coffee and join us at camp. Can't wait.